rates don't go down in a straight line. They don't go up in a straight line. We're in that little bracket in 402 on the 10-year Treasury. The market is reacting to a growing economy, stable jobs report, and 2 upward revisions on the jobs report from the 2 prior months.
Get ready for a new episode of KP Talks Dollars and Cents. Learn financial literacy and get real-time updates on all things housing, finance, and real estate. So let's get started. Here's your host, Kevin Perenio.
Hey, it's KP coming to you live from Huntington Beach. Let's go. Will EA Appraisal bringing the heat?
Yeah, that's
down. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, here we go.
Tore it up, right here on stage. What can he do? All right. We just had a nice little hour-and-a-half session here at our PRMG Retail Leadership Conference, and we're at the Paseo Hotel, which I was here about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. Core Connect and Core Logic, great venue. Got some fire pits over here. It's a little hazy, a little chilly. All right. Speaking of chilly, bond market's kind of cooling down a little bit. I was wrong. I didn't think we'd see a 4% 10-year Treasury this part of the cycle. And as usual, I've been humbled by the markets. Just like the Aaron C. show was humbled this weekend by right here on Huntington Beach. This is our hazy weather. They had the Aaron C. show out here, and it was more of a hear show. You couldn't see anything. But anyway, the show must go on. So we just had an awesome little evening here. Cocktails after our first day. We're here since 11 a.m. and got done about 5:15, 5:25. Okay, so rates don't go down in a straight line. They don't go up in a straight line. We're in that little bracket in 402 on the 10-year Treasury. The market is reacting to a growing economy, stable jobs report, and 2 upward revisions on the jobs report from the 2 prior months. So what does that mean for us? Well, it means the Fed's probably going to cut just 25 basis points at the next meeting in November, and then 25 in December, which is what they said on the dot plot. But they've been a little off before on the dot plot. But typically a rate cutting cycle, when it starts, it's rare that you see a 50 basis point cut out the gate and then a stop the next one. Remember, rates are still restrictive, especially on the poor. And so the Fed is probably going to cut, like they said on the dot plot, 25 and 25. Subject to change. Labor softening is interesting. We're creating jobs, even if they're part-time or seasonal or leisure and hospitality. They're still being created. For now, we have 8 million jobs open, up from 7.7 million. But people who quit are having a harder time finding a job. So we might have found a little bit of equilibrium here on the job front, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's not deflationary as if people were losing jobs when the unemployment rate was rising. People lose jobs, they have zero income, and that is extremely deflationary for an economy that's 70% consumer spending. So Fed speakers are out this week. The CPI is out Thursday, I believe. PPI, I believe, is out Wednesday, which is the input producer price index, consumer price index. We'll see what consumers and producers are paying for inputs. Might be a little surprised, but remember, the Fed looks at core PCE. So CPI is certainly important. It's a tier 1 data point, but it's not the battle the Fed is fighting right now. It's also heavily weighted in housing, which we know they've given up on. All the other components in inflation seem to be coming down under 2%, trending towards 2%. If you look back 3 months, it's way under 2%. Look back 6 or 12, it's right around there. And of course, if you throw in housing, which we all know is only going to get more expensive with lower rates as more people rush in, and it's more affordable, and there's more demand with the slow, sluggish pace of homes being built. So we'll see how it all plays out this seasonally slow second half of the year. So now, the new home sales report that came out
not too long ago was pretty good. So we had some decent housing news, and that's good. We need more supply. Labor, legal issues, lots, lumber is a whole bunch of 5 L's I read somewhere in some trade rag about what makes up new housing and new construction. So it's still difficult locally to pay for all the fees and everything it takes to get a house started and open a door. Having said all that, AI is still out there. It's very deflationary as well. Tesla has a big announcement this week, I believe tomorrow, on the robo-taxi update. So we'll watch that. Talked about that last week. And then we'll be cruising into the end of the year. I mean, this is where people start to get their jobs, their seasonal jobs for Q4 rush. Is it too late to have Christmas lights up? Yeah, it's not even Halloween yet. No, it's not too late. It's a big consumer spending quarter, Q4. But Friday, the banks, the financial centers, they kick off Q3 earnings. Okay, so that's July, August, and September, Q3. Earnings reports will start to come out on Friday. So we'll see how they're doing, see how the stock market's doing. Stock market's still decent, although today was a little bit of a sell-off. People taking some profits. A lot of money on the sidelines, trying to decide where to go. Is there going to be a war? Is Israel going to strike Iran? Hasn't happened yet. And respond to the 180 missiles that Iran launched at Israel. Here we are, a year almost to the date of Israel being sucker punched, with all those people being taken hostage and everyone murdered. So there's still a lot of uncertainty in the world. Of course, there's an election coming up. The dock worker strike was kicked down to January, but there's a tentative agreement. So we'll see how that all shakes out. Now, I think the October surprise for the election is how our current government is going to continue to react to everyone dealing with Helene, Hurricane Helene, and what's going on there. And of course, you got Milton. A Category 5 currently in the Gulf with the warm waters out there, bearing down on Florida. So we'll see where it curves. Does it curve up north and hit more of the Gulf states and Texas and Mississippi, Alabama, and Panhandle, or does it go at Tampa as it's currently slated to go towards? We had some people have to cancel, unfortunately, their flights to come here from Florida and some of those areas because, it's very unnerving with another hurricane coming down on Florida after they just dealt with one. We have a ton of loss of life in some of the mountain areas, Appalachians. So that could be the October surprise. How is our government going to deal with the destruction, the devastation that has happened because of Hurricane Helene? So obviously our hearts go out to everybody. Many prayers for those watching the podcast. But the secondary market, it's cold, it's heartless, it's unforgiving. It just keeps on marching forward, and we've got higher rates, which gives all of us a chance to clear out our pipelines and serve families and communities and put them in homes. And we keep moving forward. The life goes on, the beat goes on. And so lots to talk about this week, but we'll watch the Fed speakers, and I'll get you a report. I'll be in Dallas this week. I'll get you a report out there on Thursday, and hopefully everyone is safe and dealing with life as we all do every day. Thanks for watching this. Have a good one. Cheers. Hey, it's KP coming to you live from Garland, Texas. This is the house I grew up in. And my mom is not here. She's a widow. My dad will have passed. My dad, Leo, will have passed 4 years ago. As of January 21st, my fourth child, Serafina, my daughter's birthday. This is the house I grew up in. Just a modest little home. Here's all the family photos. I'll get some economic reports to you. Some of my favorite photos in the house right there. We got my dad, my little son Luca, and my kids before Serafina was born. 3 generations of perennials. This is the living room. This is where all it went down. This is where I may have stolen a swig of liquor. I swear those bottles have been here since I was in junior high. But this is where I grew up. This is it. Just a modest little home in Garland, Texas. Everyone's got their there's stuff in here, and I will show you just a couple more things, and I'll get into my normal report. There's my mom's cat, Rocket. Where'd you go, Rocket? This is the living room. This is where I learned to read, learn math, and come home late at night. The kitchen here, the cabinets are redone, and the tops, although it doesn't look like it. It's where I make ramen noodles when I get home late at night. And, oh, my cat's going crazy. My mom's cat. Here we go. What are you doing? What are you doing, Rocket? That's Rocket. Anyway, yeah, we all had humble beginnings. And my dad, in his last years, battling Parkinson's, there he is. My mom. That was right after he shaved his mustache off. My sister, high school graduation. My dad would stay in my bedroom as he withered away from neurodegenerative disease. Parkinson's sucks. Okay. Oh, look at this. Here's a Chewy package. Chewy. Shout out to Brittany Hodak, super fans. She talks about Chewy quite a bit. Okay, we're going to walk through Spring Park in Garland. CPI report out today, Consumer Price Index, and jobs report. CPI was 2.4%, excluding food and energy, which nobody does in real life. It's like 3.3% or 3.2%. So a little high. Bonds actually, yields started to go up, which means rates were going to get worse. But also, the jobless claims data came up, and it was 258,000 new jobless claims. That was a little higher than expected. That's a leading indicator of jobs. This is Mountain Ash Court. I know it's in reverse there. Mountain Ash Court. And this is where I grew up. This is my street. So I know it's dark. I'll walk you down to the Spring Park Pond where you could go fishing or hang out. So then bonds relaxed when the jobless data came out. Continuing claims were at 1.86 million, I believe. So remember, jobless claims is a leading weekly indicator of how the job market is doing. And so more claims means more people having to go on, insurance, welfare basically, and then sticking there longer, and that being elevated with what's called continuing claims means the job market is not strong. It's harder for people to find a job once they're out of work. So we'll continue to watch that. So let's talk about jobs for a second. Today was a big day in the AI space. Tesla had their cyber taxi event, and their robo-van was revealed, and their little Optimus robot update. Under $30,000, a little robot that'll do your laundry and all your stuff around the house. So I'll get into that and the port strike that went on in port automation. But before getting that, we had our retail leadership conference this past week at Huntington Beach. You saw my last video. I had a couple takeaways that I'll share with you. One of our branch mayors in New Jersey, Abdul Kawami, he said, we are looking for financial, relationship, and time freedom. I thought that was pretty cool. They all mean something different, but as we continue to get better at our jobs and get efficient, we get more time back. We're better at building relationships, which is what our business is built on. And of course, you help to achieve financial freedom. I thought that was a good takeaway. And then Dave Savage spoke. He played a video of a baseball coach that talked about your outcomes are determined by your inputs. So, you get what you put in, right? It's basically another way of saying it. Some pretty cool takeaways. I really liked it. And then, so let's get into AI. And just bear with me. So Capacity is a software bot out there. It's more than that. It's a platform. It's an AI platform. And David Carandish out of St. Louis put out an update. And he was talking about, a Q&A that he got where it said, how is AI so important? Why is it so important? What's going on there? And he talked about, for the first time ever, a non-living entity can think, and that's important. And so, you can use that AI, that non-living being, that non-living entity, to create inputs, to create efficiency, to learn. it can learn. And I thought that was very important. This is a field where I would play football and home run derby and wiffle ball. And there's a little pond in our neighborhood. So these trees were non-existent, and now they're all big and they overhang the street. It's really pretty. Very old neighborhood in Garland. We straddle the border of Plano, Garland, and Richardson, where they all come together. If you know Sherrill Park Golf Course in New Richardson, that's just on the other side of Jupiter Road. So, okay. So other than that AI, I guess, wisdom that David dropped on us, let's talk about something else where there's a lot of inefficiency. Let's talk about our cars. So all of us have a car. The average car costs about $48,000, and the average median income is like, let's call it $56,000. The price of cars has gone up, and since 2019, 25%. And our cars sit idle 95% of the time. What a waste. How inefficient. One of the most expensive things we have sits there. We have all these parking lots that don't get used. So they revealed their cyber taxi, which is basically a very cheap car that's driverless that can go around, and you can throw your car on the grid and let it go take people places. So I have 4 kids. I can't wait to send a cyber taxi or my Tesla or whatever to go pick them up and drive them places. It's pretty safe. Anyway, thought that was a very interesting thing that came out of the cyber taxi Tesla event. They also talk about their robo van, can hold up to 20 people. Think school buses, think, all those kinds of things. And, I think they did a deal with DHL, or they're looking at a deal with DHL for shipping. So that will create some efficiencies there. And then they brought out their robo bot. It's called Optimus, like Optimus Prime from Transformers. So, under $30,000, $25,000, $30,000, and this robot can just do stuff at your house, be your little friend, play games with you, whatever. We just want to do laundry at our house with 4 kids. Speaking of shipping, the dock worker strike that ended last week actually got kicked down to January 15th. The union didn't want automation, but we're really lacking in efficiency and automation in our ports. We haven't even, we opened a port in I think it was in South Carolina in 2021. And before that, we hadn't opened a port since 2009. And only 3 ports in America have automation in it, and they're all on the West Coast. Japan, Korea, China, they all have tons of automation in their ports. And it's not good for trade. We're not very competitive. So it'll be interesting to see how AI continues to evolve and impact over there. Remember, we don't need to replace jobs with AI. We need to make our jobs more efficient and do more of it. So thought that was interesting. Now, juxtapose our economy that's the strongest in the world with China, the second strongest, that needs a ton of stimulus. And then you look at economies like Germany, which is a G7 economy. They're showing their second straight year of outright negative growth. And that's a problem. So, there's a lot going on in the world. AI is a big part of it. Worker efficiency is a big part of it. But here at home, as it relates to rates, efficiencies and productivity is going up, but jobs continue to soften, and we saw a little bit of relaxation in the bond market today because of it. So we'll continue to keep an eye on all that, all the news that's coming out next week, and hopefully you enjoyed seeing my house here where I grew up. And this little, what do they say? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. We had 3 of these Japanese pines. Speaking of the Japanese automation and ports and economies, look at this little pine, this little thing. There's 3 of these in our yard, and they were like this big, and worms survived. Always good to come back. Go Texas, beat the hell out of OU. We'll get back with another update likely on Monday from the Carrington Charitable Trust Foundation, the Charitable Foundation at Pelican Hill and Newport Coast. One of the best, very best charity events you'll ever see. They raised $2 million last year for veterans that are dealing with, the aftermath of, wars and all that stuff. So we'll get back to you on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Hook 'em.
You've been listening to KP Talks Dollars and Cents, a top-rated show for those who want to learn about the economy and mortgage environment. Tune in each week for more episodes, and please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Kevin Perenio does not render or offer to render personalized investment or tax advice through KP Talks Dollars and Cents. The information provided is for informational purposes only and does not constitute financial, tax, investment, or legal advice. For more info, follow KP Talks Dollars and Cents on all of our social channels.